Merlo Field, volleyball off to the best start in school history, and a look at Terry Porter and the Pilot basketball team's trip to England. All that and more on this week's Portside of the Pilots. Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Adam Lindman. We start with a look back at a very busy Labor Day weekend on the Bluff, where both the men's soccer team and volleyball team hosted early season tournaments. Merlo Field was buzzing Friday night as the Pilots opened the Nike Invitational against nationally ranked Seattle, and the battle between the Northwest rivals did not disappoint. A raucous crowd that included more than 2,000 students were treated to a thriller as the Pilots took advantage of an early penalty when sophomore Ray Ortiz was taken down in the box. Ortiz buried the ensuing PK to give Portland the 1-0 lead. Sophomore Eric DeGraff then doubled the lead in the 64th minute when he hammered a Galazzo top shelf for his first career goal. Seattle pulled one back minutes later, but the Pilot defense was solid, and goalkeeper Paul Christensen made some stellar saves down the stretch to secure the win.
Pete Fewing does a great job. Seattle's going to have a great season. That team's not going to lose many games. That was the best team we've faced so far. So for us to come out here with a victory, I think early in the season you got to be able to grind out games, and you can talk stats, but at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is the final score.
The Pilots capped the weekend in impressive fashion with a 5-0 shutout against Cal State Fullerton on Monday night. 5 different players scored in a dominant win against the Titans, a team that has gone to the NCAA tournament in 2 of the last 3 years. Ortiz had a highlight goal and added 2 assists, and he now leads the nation with 6 assists. Sophomore striker Benji Michel scored his 5th goal of the year, while freshmen Luke Hendel and Kawasaurus notched their first collegiate goals to cap the scoring. Hood River native Gio Magana Rivera was credited with the game winner, and senior Brandon Zambrano added 2 assists. Christensen recorded 2 more saves and had a lot of help from his defense in registering his 2nd shutout of the year.
We preach to these guys that it's going to take everybody on the roster. Everybody plays a part, no matter 1 through 31. Everybody plays a huge role, and it's a lot of times the guys off the bench that decide the game. And you saw that today with guys going on, with Billy going in, Luke going in, Kawa getting the goal. I mean, tremendous job from the guys on the bench, but it's also the guys that are still on the bench after that are giving these guys a lift. So huge team effort, huge team win, and something that we're really proud of with this group.
Merlo Field is widely recognized as one of the top natural grass playing surfaces in the United States. Elite international clubs including Manchester City, Bayern Munich, and Inter Milan have used Merlo for training purposes in recent years. The man responsible for keeping that field in such great shape is Portland Athletics field manager Kevin White, who was recently awarded the 2016 Field of the Year by the Sports Turf Managers Association.
Field of the Year, it's a pretty great designation to get from a group of my peers in the Sports Turf Managers Association. There's a lot of guys like me out there that do what I do, and we do it. There's a lot of passion involved in it. A lot of work does go into it, a lot of work. It's a great dedication of my time and my passion and my education. I just love what I do.
The Pilot volleyball team made its home debut this past weekend as the host of the North Harbor Marriott Challenge at the Chiles Center. The Pilots opened the tournament with a 3-1 win over Fresno State on Friday. After the Bulldogs took the first set, Portland responded behind the dynamic duo of Hannah Troutman and Reagan Pukas as they combined for 39 kills. The Pilots then had an early 9:30 a.m. matchup with Alabama State on Saturday, and Portland answered the morning call with a convincing 3-0 sweep of the Hornets. The tournament finale featured unbeaten in-state rivals Oregon State and the Pilots for the championship. The match, televised right here live on CSN, featured some exciting back-and-forth action as the Beavers held on for a 3-1 win to take the tourney title. Pukas and Kaylee Thompson each earned all-tournament honors for Portland, while the Pilots' 5-1 record matches the best start in program history.
I think our left side attacking is you know, I think their numbers were really good, and obviously led the team in kills. They were efficient, had some good shots, moved the ball around, Hannah and Reagan, and they've gotten a lot better at attacking. We've spent a lot of time teaching, and they've spent a lot of time working on it and honing it, and we've seen it. Even if the defense isn't fantastic, we can get away with some wins. So those two stood out a lot in terms of left side attacking.
Hurricane Harvey's destruction and devastation in the state of Texas has inspired many around the nation to rally and lend support in any way possible. University of Houston men's basketball coach Kelvin Sampson responded to those asking how they can help with a simple request. Send 20 shirts and 10 pairs of shoes to the university, which would then be distributed to those in need. The Pilot women's basketball team answered the call.
I sent out a text message to the team and just said, hey, you know, if you guys are up for this, you know, let's drop by, throw some stuff in a bin, I'll get it all packaged up and sent out. And so there was immediate response from the girls on the team, just jumping on board and wanting to give anything that they could to help the cause. And that's kind of how things came around and transpired.
Some people lost everything, and it's not something that they can just go and get back. So for us to be able to give what we have extra of, or just to be able to even purchase and donate something, is a huge help to those families, and just kind of showing love from across the country.
The Pilot men's soccer team had a surprise visit from a familiar face last month before the team's exhibition match against Corbin College. New York Red Bulls goalkeeper Luis Robles, the 2015 MLS Goalkeeper of the Year and a four-year starter on the Bluff during his college years, gave some words of wisdom to the young squad.
As you guys get ready for the season, you know that only 11 guys start. And you want to be one of those guys. But if you're not one of those guys right off the bat, push those guys. Make them earn it. Because I promise you, if you're doing that, they're going to get better. And if they're not getting better, then you're going to sneak in there and you're going to take that position, and the team is going to be better off for it. All right? You guys are young, and it's a beautiful time to be in college. And you're going to learn some amazing lessons while you're here. But I promise you, the idea of working in an organization, being on a team, and developing humility and selflessness, that will pay dividends for years to come. Guys, I'm excited for this season. I'm excited for all of you guys. And I wish you guys the very best. Thank you for having me.
Coming up next, we'll speak to the man who has led the men's soccer resurgence on the Bluff as head coach Nick Carlin-Voigt stops by to chat. You're watching Portside with the Pilots on CSN. Welcome back to Portside with the Pilots. There's a lot of excitement around the men's soccer program at the University of Portland following last season's WCC title and the team's return to the postseason. We are joined now by the person at the helm of the resurgence, head coach Nick Carlin-Voigt. Coach, thanks for joining us here this evening. Now, last year, your first year at UP, the team was coming off a couple of down years, but you were able to lead that group back to a league title. What was key to the quick turnaround?
It was a magical year, and looking back, we had complete team buy-in from 1 to 30 in the roster, and the guys were really hungry to win and taste success. And you know, wasn't always straight up. We lost our opener and took some bumps along the way, but once we got going and we won our first game on the road at Gonzaga, our fans traveled with us for the first 3 away games. To come out of those first 3 away games with 9 points was significant, and that gave us momentum. We carried that on through the end of the season on that last game against St. Mary's. It was a very magical night, and to win the championship in front of a record crowd at Merlot was fantastic. But championships always come back to doing small things well and having a good team culture.
Now this season, you're off to a 3-1 start with some impressive wins. What are this year's expectations?
The expectations stay the same. It's to get better every single day, to continue to remain driven by the process rather than the outcome, to continue to have complete team buy-in by the whole team, and for the guys to have fun. And this group, I'm very blessed. I have a roster and a locker room that I really love working with every day. That's the best part of my day. And these guys are very competitive, right? They're brothers off the field, but on the field they compete. And obviously we want to continue to chase championships, but we'll do that one day at a time.
And recruiting obviously has been huge for you guys. This year's class ranked number 5 in the country. Talk about the impact that some of the newcomers have had.
Well, the lifeblood of any college program is continuing to have new players, and we are fortunate enough to track some of the best players in the country, not just abroad, but here in our backyard as well. And so I like this group of players. You saw it last night on the field. We talked before the game that elite teams have great bench, and two guys got their first goals in Pilot jerseys yesterday. Luke Hendel and Kawasaurus both scored fantastic goals, and they continue to push, and they give us a lift. And you're going to need depth in college when you play Friday, Sunday, when you play 2 to 3 games in a week. You're only as good as your bench, and these new guys are injecting a lot of energy. I thought Jason Romero has come in and has really been a good partner with Benji. He probably had his best game in a Pilot uniform last night. Even though he didn't score, he was very busy, he was active, he was covering a lot of ground, he was making plays with and without the ball, and you can start to see the relationship between him and Benji. When on the field, you can't just focus on one guy because both of them can hurt you in different ways.
Now, as the season continues, it seems like you guys are improving every single game, but what are some improvements you'd like to see?
Well, I think you can always get better on both sides of the ball. We've been fortunate to be able to score some goals. We preach and champion an attacking brand of soccer, a very open and an entertainment value for the fans, where we want to give the reason for the fans to come and support us. We can always get better on the defensive side of the ball. We've given up too many goals. I don't think we've protected leads well enough. We haven't started each half well enough. And so those are things that we've continued to preach. And you can always get better. It's only 4 games into the season, and you see in phases of play that are very good, and then you'll see 10 or 15 minutes here where maybe we take our foot off the gas. I was very pleased against Fullerton. Once we went up 1, we were hungry to get the second, and then we didn't stop, and we got up to 5-0. On the Friday night game against Seattle, who were very good. It was a big win over a top 25 team. We didn't manage the lead well enough. We're up 2-0, and at that point, we were on the back foot a little bit. And when you're up 2-0, you need to have the ball more and defend with the ball and play in their half. And we had a chance to score the 3rd goal, and we didn't do that. And they come down and score the 1st goal, and now we're 2-1, and we're kind of hanging on at the end of the game. So we'd like to have the end of the game management be a little bit cleaner.
Let's talk about the importance of scheduling. You guys don't seem to be shy from playing anybody, are you?
Yeah. I mean, our goals are to be the best program in the country. And so if you want to be the best, you don't just have to play the best, you have to beat the best. And so our philosophy is that we can play and beat anyone, anytime, under any conditions, regardless of variables that we have no control over. And so you can see the schedule significantly upgraded from last year. It's going to challenge us. We saw that early in the preseason, playing 2-time defending champion Stanford, playing Washington, who I thought was, a top 10 team, but we were potentially the better team. And we take it one game at a time. And now we look forward to Cal, who's a storied program. They've produced many pros into the MLS, and they've been at many deep NCAA tournament runs. So we like the schedule this year. It's going to challenge us, but it'll get us ready for WCC play.
We have to talk about fan support and Merlot magic. What do the fans mean to the program and to the community?
The fans are everything. I mean, the fans are your heart and soul of your team, and fans give the players a reason to play hard. And without fans, there's not a lot of reason or meaning to continue to give everything you have. And so we love playing at home. We love defending Merlot. We want to have a perfect record at home. And every time we step on the field, it's an honor and a privilege to represent all the pilots who've come before us. And so we can't wait to get back on the field Saturday night to play Cal. And we just want to thank the community and the fan support for continuing to be behind us. And he'll be our 12th man in the stands.
Coach Nick, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thanks for having me, Adam.
Portside with the Pilots continues after the break. Coming up next on Portside, we head across the pond with the men's basketball team, who spent 10 days in England last month as part of a foreign tour. The team played 4 games and took in some sights. Welcome back to Portside, with the roster featuring 9 newcomers and just 4 players with Division I experience. The Portland men's basketball team wanted to provide the revamped roster with as many on-court learning opportunities as possible. This summer, head coach Terry Porter and his staff scheduled a foreign tour to England in mid-August. In addition to a 10-day training camp before departing Portland, the team was able to play 4 games against solid competition while overseas and get some quality team bonding and sightseeing out of the trip.
Touchdown in London, UP all the way.
This trip provided a great opportunity for this team. We're very pleased with that and very pleased overall with the basketball aspect of the trip.
Blocked inside by the big man, Philip Hartwich. You don't want to go one-on-one with him at the rim.
Just the opportunity to go see another culture, to experience that as a team, and to provide that type of opportunity for these student athletes was something I think that's going to carry and go with them for a very long time.
It was really good for the team to see where we're at, play against some different types of opposition, and of course see the sights of London and etc. So honestly, it was really great.
It was a good experience being able to play against pro teams. I feel like it helped a lot in building that team chemistry. We all know each other's games. We know our roles, so I think it'll help us a lot during the season.
I was impressed with our guard play, and I was impressed. I think there's players like Phil that made a huge improvement from a year ago to now, and having the opportunity to have that footage and show it to our guys between now and October, I think we can learn a lot from it. But overall, I think the games were pretty competitive, especially having 2 games that came down to the buzzer.
On the clock, head coach Terry Porter telling his team to go. Porter for 2! Oh, against the winner!
No timeout call by Terry Porter, and he won it on the buzzer.
I had to get the ball out. I didn't know if the clock still runs in FIBA, so I just thought to get it out quick, and then I gave it to Marcus. I kind of asked for the ball back from Marcus. I got it back, and I saw a little lane. I kind of just tried to squeeze in and raised up, and thankfully I made the shot.
We've played 4 quality teams, 1 stop away from being 4-0, but what I liked about it, from each game we got better. Energy, effort, and execution. I thought all 3 of those played a huge impact in this trip basketball-wise, and we got better.
I saw probably 90% of my family. It was great seeing each and every one of them. I haven't played much in front of them in the past few years. They haven't seen me play in probably almost 3 years, so it was really great.
It was great for the players to see kind of where he came from and his background, and to see what his lifestyle was like before he came to the States.
When we were in London, I got a chance to go in the London Eye with the London Dungeons, and with the London Eye you got to see pretty much all across London. So for me, I haven't experienced that myself, and I'm from England, so I thought that was a great opportunity.
It was my first time being out of the country, so I think my favorite would have to be Big Ben. I think it was cool because I always seen it like in video games. I seen a lot of pictures.
I think everything we did was great and really enjoyed it, and very thankful to the ones that made it possible. Our alum, our boosters, our athletic department, our administration here at UP to help support this and allow us as coaches to go and our players to go and enjoy it, and that is something that we really, really appreciate.
Come on, Scoop. Come on.
Everyone loved the atmosphere and how loud the fans were and how into it they were. And it was really great. Everyone really found that fun.
Walking down the steps, it was pretty crazy. Everybody waving their flag, cheering. I got into it a little bit. It was pretty fun.
The atmosphere is crazy. Nothing like this. I've never had anything like this. It's amazing.
Overall, we're really pleased. We're glad that we had this opportunity to evaluate the new players, and I think the returners have also made a commitment to improving their games. And so overall, we're very, very pleased.
We're excited about the foundation they have laid down thus far. Very excited about that, and very excited about the current roster, and ready to go to battle with them.
Fans, it's easier than ever to get tickets to upcoming Pilot home games. Just visit portlandpilots.com/tickets and use the limited time promo code Portside this week to get a 4-pack that includes 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, and 4 drinks for just $44 to any upcoming home soccer match in September. Once again, visit portlandpilots.com/tickets today and use the promo code Portside. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Both Portland cross-country teams were scheduled to head south this week for Thursday's Oregon preview in Eugene, but due to the poor air quality because of several fires in the area, the meet has been canceled. And as of right now, all University of Portland home athletic events this weekend will be played as scheduled, but be sure to check with portlandpilots.com for any updates. And speaking of the weekend, the Pilot women's soccer team returns home to host the Nike Invitational. Portland will face Baylor on Friday at 7 p.m. and then Boise State on Sunday at 3. The team is coming off a close 1-0 loss to number 2 Florida on Sunday in Seattle, and senior forward Hannah Griffiths-Boston says it's nice to be home.
We're super excited to be back on Merlot this weekend after 2 away trips, and then having our opener be before school started without the students on campus. We're all super excited to play for our fans at home on Merlot. After coming off a weekend playing the number 2 team in the country, Florida, we're feeling like we're starting to really gel, and we're excited to show that off on Merlot in front of the fans this weekend.
Men's soccer will look for its 4th straight home victory when the Pac-12's Cal Golden Bears visit Merlo Field on Saturday night at 7 p.m. The Pilots are one of the highest scoring teams in the country with 15 goals in 4 matches, while Cal has scored just 1 goal in its first 3 matches.
Cal will be it'll be a fun one. Kevin Grimes there, he'll have his team very well prepared. They have a day up rest, and it'll be about trying to out-prepare the competition. I mean, those guys are a very ball possession-oriented, attacking-minded team, and they play in a tough conference and been battle-tested. They're going to be hungry, so we got to make sure we prepare and that we're ready for it.
And be sure to send us any questions, requests for content, or just give us some feedback on the show on social media by using #Portside. And that does it for this episode of Portside of the Pilots. We'll see you next time.